We're going to hear from no other person than Dr. Simdah Tanko.
Praise God. And it's a Christian gathering anyway. Praise God. Please can I have the PowerPoints up? But before the PowerPoints comes up, who doesn't eat food? If you've not eaten food before, can I see your hands, please? Okay. Have you taken eggs before? Chicken? Meat? We know kilishi, right? Okay. In Genesis chapter 1, from verses 10 to 12, God created the vegetation. So God was the first farmer. Going down to verses 20 to 25, God created fishes and other livestock. Aquaculture started from God. So God was the first processor. Here, the future of agribusiness and digital solution opportunities for young entrepreneurs. What I'm going to present, I want to spur our hearts. Because in agriculture, we have different value chains that you can actually key into. Let's go next slide. Okay, agriculture. We all know agriculture is the cultivation of crops and then rearing of animals. But now it has improved, it has evolved. We have to put the environment into consideration. And we don't allow the farmer to do everything. Now, business is an entity that next slide. Okay, we'll be handling agricultural value chain. I need us to understand all this so you know where you can actually help yourself. If we don't know what has been, we will not know what involves buying of the inputs, doing the proper farming itself, the processing, and then getting to the consumers is what we have as the agricultural value chain. Next slide. Now, to explain this agricultural value chain, now we have corn here. We have the corn seeds. You can pick on being an input part of the value chain. You can decide you want to go for seeds. You want to invest on seeds, making seeds to sell to farmers. You can decide to be a producer. As we can see, I'm just talking about just only maize, the value chain in maize. After producing, you have your fruit or you have your grains. After the grain, as a producer, you sell off. You can either sell, we can see conflicts there. I know most of us know conflicts. We can see how maize started from seed, became a seed, now processed to cornflakes, and then we consume. You can decide to be part of that seed or part of the production or part of the processing and packaging. Next slide, please. Now, in agricultural deals with fishes, and then we also have the forestry and apiculture, that is the bees. Now, under crop production value chain, we have three phases. We have the pre-production phase, the production phase, and then we have the post-production phase. Next slide. Now, I'm going to start the ones selling chemicals. They are the ones selling the hoes we are using, the rakes we are using. You can do that. You can be part of it. This value chain is just for those that are going to provide input before production. Next slide. Now, I just put some pictures here. You can decide to go for either the seeds. You can be part of fertilizer. You can be part of the chemicals, the agrochemicals we use on the farm. You don't have to do everything, but you can pick one and be good at it. Next slide, please. The production phase, that's the farming proper. You cannot farm maize, rice, alejo, let me put it, and everything. No. Focus on one. If you want to go into farming of grains or cereals, focus on it and build it up. We have horticulture. Horticulture covers, we have the olericulture. That's where we have the vegetables, the spinach, ugu, cucumbers, and the rest of them. Then we have floriculture. Those that do ornamental gardens. Most of the flowers that architects get to do landscaping in our houses is a part or a branch of agriculture. So you can decide if you have passion for growing plants or crops, you can go for floriculture, which deals with ornamental plants. And then we have pomology, orchards and fruits. All you are after is maybe I want to produce only oranges, only apples or other kinds of fruits. Then we have forestry and economic trees. If you have a farm, please let me give this advice. If you have a farm, round the borders of your farm, trees will bring to your pocket. Post-production, we have processing, packaging, which is value addition. Now, a farmer that farms maize, he takes it to the market. And we have someone with conflicts coming to the market. Which one will be bought at a higher price? Conflicts. Do we all agree? Why? Value addition. He has added value to the maize instead of just bringing the maize as it is to the market. Now, that is what I want us to think. I want you to pick a branch, even if you are agriculturally inclined or not. You can get something. If you're good at marketing, you can sell something. Now, in processing, we have shelling, threshing. The mechanical engineer, you can actually design a machine that does shelling and you sell. Or you sell just the drawing and someone buys it. Companies can buy them. We have the thresher and the winnowing. You can sell all these designs and you find companies that will actually get them and then sell the products. Then, packaging is all about conversion from raw form to extend the shelf life of that particular product you're using. Packaging has a way of just making whatever you've produced to be presentable and in a manner that it can be handled. Are we together? If you go to the market and you buy, let's say, a cup of maize and they give you in your hands, will you be able to carry it? No. But when they put it in a nylon bag, it's easier to what? Handle. That's also a form of packaging. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay. Here we'll be comparing some of the things that we know and the things that is and the things that can be. Are we together? For storage, then when we were growing up, we knew that it was rumbus that were used. If you go to the villages, even around, you'll find rumbus made with clay just to store grains. But now we have silos coming up. Can we go to the next slide? We need to see that. Next slide, please. Aha. The one at my left, maybe that's the one at the left now, is the old rumbus we know. But now we have what? Silos. It doesn't have to be this big, but you can do something that can help the little communities we have in our areas. You can have cooperative societies, cooperative groups in your villages. You can construct this that will stay better. Then, jute bags were used, but now we have the polypropylene bags. Next slide, please. We have the PICS bags now to store your grains. Instead of more, but you wouldn't tell what you will get. You might just pick up sacks. There are different sacks for different grains, for different purposes. This PICS is specifically for beans. And this particular one with the grain inside, there's a way they made it with insects. It's insect-proof outside. Any insect that touches it gets to die. And then the ones inside does not have aeration to actually thrive. So one can actually look at the value chain for sacks. We are in harvest season now. This is the market for sacks because in this part of the world, we actually store in sacks. Now, jumping from the crop back to the animal. Sorry, I'm an animal scientist, but I just a very little here. Now, in animal agriculture, because we all love, who doesn't like meat? We love meat, we love eggs, milk, yogurt, cheese, and the rest of it. Now, we get all those either from the large animals, which is the ruminants, the small animals, sheep and goats, then poultry, which is almost what everybody wants to go into. We have the rabbits, and then the micro livestock. Grass cutter is now hot cake. All you need is a little training, and you'll be able to handle most of these animals. And they'll fetch you good money. I think I didn't write swine there. It goes back to the maize farmer, to the soya bean farmer. Now, the challenge is most of our farming population are aging. And we, the young ones, don't want to go into production. We want to go digital. I don't know. Who has been served food on Facebook of recent? Maybe you got e-food and you were full. So we don't need to let these things die. Are we together? Okay, post-production value chain. All about animals is to produce either milk, meat, or eggs. When you have your milk, you have yogurts. I learned how to do yogurts. And you can do cheese. When it comes to meat, next slide. We'll see some pictures. Okay. This is a typical example of, let me say, the chicken value chain too. You can decide to go for supplies of day-old chicks. You can liaise with hatcheries. You supply, and then I realized that after 50,000 chicks, 100 naira per chick, how much will you make? Are we seeing it? So you can go for the chick value chain. Or you can decide to keep your birds older. Even if it is just the brooding phase, 2 weeks. Some people sell at 2 weeks. And you make your cool money. And then you realize that the weight to buy feed will not be so much on you as a producer. Now you keep your birds either for eggs or for meat. There's markets for eggs. Children are in school, there's markets for eggs. We have confectionaries, there's markets for eggs. Eggs now is expensive. Now, one of the reasons why egg is expensive, because feed, the maize farmer. Can you see how everything affects everything? So pick one thing that you can actually improve. Now, some of the ways we can help. We have the innovative farming. That's what I termed it, innovative farming. Looking at our age now that we are very interested in digital things, we want we don't want to go through let me use the word hard labor that the aging farming population are going through. Now, what can we do as youths to make agriculture easier? Less planting. I think I saw one where they grew some vegetables without the use of soil. All they need was what? The water was rich in nutrients that particular plant needs to have. They were raised on water. Then we have vertical farming. Please move. There's a place where we have the pictures. Please, next slide. Okay. Now, this slide is to show us the normal way we raise vegetables. You can see the soil and then, stay there, please. You can see the farmer trying to trellis his cucumbers, the cucumber plants, on the stake. But next slide. Next slide, please. Now, this is what we call vertical veggie farming. We can see that it is arranged, in rows. You use less soil. You use less amount of water. And then it's in an enclosed or controlled environment. You control the humidity, you control the temperature, you control whatever that happens, the environment inside, the greenhouse. It's like a large house, large covering that you can grow plants in. It controls the environment. It keeps pests away. So you won't get to use much pesticides here. Are we together? Not on soil. So we can see with this technology, we have less impact on the soil. So our environment has a way of regenerating itself because we are not troubling the soil. Next slide, please. The manual way we know, using the knapsack sprayer to spray. But now technology I know most of us saw drones, maybe when you're snapping pictures. Maybe if you've been to, let me mention the church, Dunamis, you've seen it snapping, aerial view and all that. Now, technology has so moved in agriculture that we can use drones to farm. Instead of the manual sprayer, we can now have drones do the spraying, even fertilizer application. Now, this is much time-saving. The labor is less, and then efficiency is increased. Next slide, please. So if you are into designing of things, you can put the drone design that can carry liters of either pesticides or fertilizers to our farms. We in Africa, we are finding it difficult to break away from tradition. That's what's affecting us. When the world has gone 100 years ahead, that's when we want to start first year. Now, please, for our designers, we can look much more into this analysis. Then there's ways they do. You apply all these data collected when raising plants, and then we can use it to predict tomorrow's the future. Then we have sensors on the field. Sensors can be designed. It will take all the data, so it helps to predict. Will next year yield be good? Will it not be good? These are places that we youths can come in. Sensors design, either for plants or for animals. We have software, even for making feed. We use software for them. Those are things that our younger people that are tech inclined can actually go into it. We have a lot of software for development of data analysis, and then this data actually helps farmers to predict what will happen. What are the things that can happen next year? Will our plants be predisposed to either diseases, pests, whatever it is? All I'm asking is, no matter what, in all of this change, you can participate in one. Please, next slide. You can participate in one. Whatever it is, as long as you know that people will eat. Can we go to the conclusion, please? As long as you know that people will eat, that means you can do something to make getting that food easier. Pick a value chain, either at the beginning, at the middle, or at the end. Some are good with processing. Just add a little skill to it, and then you find out that it's better. I think I had a slide, maybe the picture didn't really show, of how, okay, we saw it. Meat is converted to, you can either do kilishi, which is the meat jerky, or the dambonama known as the meat floss. We can convert meat in those ways, and then we enhance the sell anything in agriculture. I know that God is going to help us. Whatever you put your mind to do it well, and I'm sure blessings will not elude you. Thank you very much.
And we're just going to quickly have Monica Agbene to just ask her a few questions in line with agriculture. So please, let's encourage Monica as she comes up. So just for us to save time, Monica, you can come here, Monica. There you go.
Good afternoon. So, I would like to know, or we would like to know, the biggest challenges and opportunities that is facing the agricultural sector today.
Amen.
1, 2.
Okay, the challenges facing the agricultural sector today is funding and policies. You find out that most of the government policies are more, let me say, crop inclined than animal inclined, except for now that I thought is funding one, then the risk involved in agriculture. Because some people, you will just plant and then flood from nowhere will come and sweep everything, and you've spent millions of naira, you've invested a lot in it. So it's actually high risk, and then the funding from government, that's another issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. So, with all these challenges, what are the ways that we can bridge the gap between farmers and consumers, and how we can increase the profit for the farmer?
Okay. I think some ways we can do, like I mentioned earlier, we have cooperative societies. If we have maybe friends, families come together, pool your resources together, sell the resources together, you have more. And then another thing is we should embrace recent developments. You know, as I earlier said, the farming population are getting old, and they are not finding it easy to accept technology-inclined agriculture. Imagine going to go and meet a family. One of the ways to alleviate that is to accept the technologies coming up now.
So, the final question I would like to ask is, how can young entrepreneurs contribute to a more equitable and inclusive food system?
Okay. Young entrepreneurs, you cannot do everything yourself. You cannot do everything. You cannot cover the entire value chain, like I've mentioned earlier. Pick a place, develop it. Wherever place you pick, I'm sure you must have seen a problem there and you want to work on it. If funding is a problem, like this conference is one way you can help. If you're looking for funding, you can attend some maybe agri-tech conferences. From there, you'll be able to see people that actually can fund some technological advancements that you intend to do.
Collaborate.
Yes, you can collaborate with them when you go for conferences like that. And then if you have an idea with the same passion,
To boost your and to the congregation. So I hope this will boost your inspire how agribusiness is also having a massive transformation. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you all very much. Please, a round of applause for them. Thank you so much, Dr. Simdah. Thank you very much, Monica.